Hey guys, Konga here, and today we are reviewing the Object 260 Model 1945, the newest Tier 10 Premium tank in World of Tanks Mercenaries. It's Russian, and like the 907, it's been nerfed. So I feel like World of Tanks console does not want to be known as Russian biased, because that seems to be a thing on PC. So here on console, when it's Russian, it gets nerfed pretty hard. And that happened to this tank. Not as bad as I would say to this as they did to the 907 with the DPM nerf. This kind of got everything about the tank nerfed, but just barely. Like nothing super hard, like oh my goodness, oh it can't be played anymore kind of a nerf. Kind of like the Italian tanks where they got a 27% DPM nerf. But this thing got everything about the tank nerfed, which in my opinion is dumb. If you think something's gonna be too good on a tank, nerf that. Don't nerf everything about the tank. So they nerfed its gun handling, its rate of fire, its accuracy, its aim time, its mobility, its turning speeds, and its armor. However, its speed in a straight line and its view range have remained the same. And its hit points, 2100. So yeah. But let's quickly get into the kind of gun it has. It has a 122, which fires APCR as standard and has 260 millimeters of standard penetration, which is amazing for a tier 10 heavy tank. In fact, I think this is the second most on any tier 10 heavy tank firing standard. I think the highest is Object 277 with 265. So this is 260, which actually is really, really nice. It has 2.5 seconds aim time and a 0.37 accuracy. And it fires 4.96 rounds a minute. That's slow. The IS-4 fires 5 rounds a minute. And just to put it into even more shame, it fires much faster than the IS-7, which is fine. But look at the 113. 5.7 rounds a minute with pretty much the same exact gun, except this tank has a little bit better gun handling and 2 millimeters less penetration. Okay, whatever. It fires a lot faster. And this gun, the 130 on the 5A, 5.36 rounds per minute instead of the 4.98 or 4.96. What was it? Yeah, 4.96. The 5A is a better 260. It's just as simple as that. Granted, the 5A is just a little bit slower in a straight line. However, when the 5A turns, it doesn't lose much speed. The 260 suffers from the same problem as the IS-7, where if you turn the tank, you'll lose a lot of speed. That is something I have found out. And the hull armor, it's good where the pike is, and so is the turret where the front is. But you see how the turret is angled? If you hit the bottom part of the turret, it goes into the hull, the upper hull. And the upper hull is not strong. And I'll have a video for you guys demonstrating the upper hull. And I've actually had a couple shots bounce off of the lower part of my turret and go into the hull. You can actually do that. Is if you're like, oh, I don't know how to pen that guy, he's hull down, you know, I don't have good shots on his turret roof, just shoot him there and it'll bounce off and then go into the upper hull, which is really, really weak, or the engine deck, you may call it, whatever you want to call it. So let's take a quick look at a few things before we jump into some more details. The ammo rack, just like normal Russians, are on along the side, but right behind the space armor, so it's kind of hard to hit. Actually, I say like normal Russians, but that's actually kind of a hard shot to hit. Through the front, you're probably not going to get it. Through the sides, it's behind space armor. So the ammo rack, I find, actually hasn't been hit much in this thing, because a lot of the other Russians, if you hit it in the drive wheel, you can ammo rack it, not this thing. Here's the gun. We have actually 6 degrees of gun depression. I thought it was 5, so that's actually pretty nice. Though it does struggle a little bit, because it is taller than some of the other Russians, surprisingly enough. And then it goes 60 kilometers an hour with 19.58 horsepower per ton, which is insane. That is insane. Back to the ammunition, you'll see the APCR flies at 1259 meters a second, the Heat 900, and the HE 700. Oof, that's really slow. But, you know, that's okay. That's what it does. Let's go take a quick look at the armor, and then we'll pull it out for a couple pre-recorded games, and then we'll pull it out live for you guys. Alright, here is the Object 260. This is the 1.6 version. We don't have the 1.6 version. We have the 1.17 version. Here we go. And if we go to live, like you're shooting at yourself, yellow is penetrable, green is a definite penetration, and so is blue. Blue is an overmatch. Yeah, so lower plate is actually pretty good in this thing, not too bad. I mean, it's not great. You're going to get pinned by 10s pretty much every single time, especially with the 0 RNG event going on right now. Anyone with 246 millimeters of penetration is going to pin you every time. The upper plate is pretty good, but yet again, because of the 0 RNG right now, anyone with heat rounds on their premium rounds at tier 10 will pin you every time. The turret is really good. Yet again, if you hit here though, it'll bounce off and go to the hull. And look at this, the hull is only 30 millimeters, the upper hull. That's overmatchable by anything that's 91 millimeters or higher. So pretty much every heavy tank you're ever going to fight. And then the roof, and then pretty much every medium tank as well at tier 9 and 10. And with +1, -1, that's every tank. The roof is also 30, so that's overmatchable, and I get hit here constantly in this tank. The cupola is a hard shot, but if you miss the cupola, you just hit the roof. So the armor does let this thing down a lot. The side armor isn't the greatest, of course. It's like a regular Russian. You just shoot underneath the spaced armor. If you do hit the spaced armor, you're going to bounce off all day, every day, which is where the ammo rack is, so that's pretty nice that it's behind this. The rear armor, nothing too, it's the back of the tank. The side of the turret is actually really good, too. And look, as you can see, look at this is pretty good. This is going to bounce shots all day long. It's both sides. In fact, the other side appears to be it's just a little bit better almost. Yeah, I think it's because of this. It angles a little bit more up top. And yeah, look at this. This is the side profile. I mean, it's a big profile on the side, but still, it's a hard shot to penetrate. And yesterday when I was playing it, I had shots bouncing off of that all day long. And this tank has 6 degrees according to console. It says it has 6, but remember it also said on console it said that the brick had 7 degrees, but come to find out it actually had like 4.8, and they had to buff it to 5. So even though console says it has 6 degrees, take it with a grain of salt. It does not feel like 6 degrees playing it. I'm pretty sure it's only 5. But that's just my experience. Let's jump into a couple of games, and then we'll play it live for you guys. Before we jump into the game, this is a screenshot I forgot to show. It shows the exact nerfs and what they used to be. They nerfed its hull rotation speed from 28 degrees to 26, its accuracy from 0.35 to 0.37, its on-the-move dispersion from 0.15 to 0.18, its turret rotation dispersion from 0.6 to 0.8, its aim time from 2.2 to 2.5, its reload from 11 seconds to 12.1, its roof armor from 55 to 30, and its cupola from 90 hyper-angled to 120. The first game for you guys is on Arctic region. I'm only going to be showing you the beginning of this game because it demonstrates 2 very important aspects about the vehicle. The speed and the roof armor. And it also kind of shows off the turret as well. So you can see that the tank is bouncy. It just doesn't survive long. The thing about this tank is it's not an IS-7. So like an IS-7, once you get into position, if you're in a good position, you can't get dug out. You can just sit there and wail on people and they just can't do anything. Then you have tanks like the 5A, which will troll. Sometimes it'll bounce, sometimes it won't. And then you have tanks like this. As soon as people start shooting you in your weak spots, you just die. Simple as that. Your weak spots are really, really weak. But anyway, this is us using the speed. We kind of had to try to get around the 57 heavy there, so it slowed us down just a little tiny bit. But that's okay, we still got through quickly and unscathed. But now I know I'm going to take a hit from the side probably. Where could this guy be? There he is, he does, he tracks us. We snap a shot, use our first repair kit because we used 2, and then we're going to move on straight towards the C50M, who has decided, yeah, he doesn't want anything to do with us. And then he does change his mind. But here's the armor working a little bit. Doing! He bounces off. Great job, armor there. And look how fast we are. We're able to get into this position, which is an amazing position as long as Artie doesn't shoot at you. And we're going to be demonstrating that here. Just how good this position is and how good this tank is at getting into positions like this. However, there are 2 artillery on the enemy team. There's also 2 on my team, but here we go. We're mostly hull down here. You can still see a bit of our hull. Doesn't matter. He bounces off. And, do you see that M103? You see him? Yeah. That was artillery. Thank you, artillery. Boom. Great shot there by him, and we pick up 1700 assist. And we're going to put a nice easy side shot into the E50M there. GG. And our assist starts to rack up, and so does our damage, and so does our block damage. Are we going to kill this guy? Yeah, we're going to go for the kill. We could shoot the E50M. Oh, thank you, E50M, for taking that hit for us. And we kill him, and boom! There's artillery. Going from 2100 health down to less than 200 in a singular shot. One single shot. And we're going to quickly look at where he hit us. We can see it right now. Can you see that? On the very right of my tank. Right next to my turret. Right under my turret. Can you see that? There it is. Right there. That's where he hit. Remember, that's 30 millimeters of armor. So, yeah, Artie is going to go through that all day long. Now, the curious few may want to know how that game went. Well, already finished me off, but not before we get 3,000 assists and nearly 3,000 damage ourselves. So I'll take that. It's a pretty good game, almost 6,000 combined. Now we're going to jump into a game that was live during the live stream yesterday, but I took out my audio, but you still see my face. But I want to commentate over it. The ace tanker I have in stored for you guys is on Live Oaks, and you see me blurred out on the left. You're probably wondering, why on earth would you blur me yourself out in this? It's because I figured it'd kind of be confusing if you see me talking in the left, but it doesn't match what I'm saying for the commentary, so I just decided to remove myself, so it doesn't distract you. Hopefully that helped. Sorry about the little blob in the left, but it's not really in the way, so other than when you see the team list. And I really wanted to show this replay because it demonstrates yet again the speed of this tank and just how powerful that can be. Now, I use a gun rammer, vertical stabilizer, and optics on this tank. And this game here is also going to demonstrate just how important optics are, in my opinion. You just get all this extra spotting damage, all this huge advantage on the enemy team, being able to spot them while they can't spot you, or being able to spot them first. It's huge. And look at how fast we are. We're actually beating our medium tanks. We have a couple medium tanks behind us, and we are just pushing through much faster than they are. They're lagging behind us, which is great. And I've decided, when I was streaming this, we just got out of a game where it was a decent game, and we did pretty well, but we could have done so much more. And I think then we got killed because our team just died out. And so this game, I was like, I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going to take the game by its horns, and we're going to win this game. And that's what we're doing. Look at the speed and what we're allowed to do because of this speed. It's insane. It's phenomenal. We just bounced a shell from that WZ off of our turret. Our turret is great, by the way. We have mentioned that before, but yet again, if they bounce off the lower part of the turret, it will go into the hull. Unless I'm angled like this, actually, it will not. It will go into my upper plate and should bounce off. And if they hit my roof, they'll penetrate as well, so keep that in mind. We're up to 460 assist damage already, just because we pushed so aggressively here. And yeah, this is what the tank can do. It really can. The 5A and the 113 would not be able to do this as well, or as quickly. It would not be able to lead the charge like this, which we have been able to do. We have led the charge, and here we are. However, if I was in the 5A right now, ooh, my DPM would be so good. And my gun depression. This is not 6 degrees. I know Wargaming says it's 6 degrees, but don't get this thinking it's 6 degrees. You can tell right here that this is not 6 degrees. It is 5 still, just like it is on PC. Hopefully they'll fix this. Maybe I'm wrong, but this, look at the struggle. This is not 6. No, it's not. No, it's not. Maybe I am wrong. Maybe it is. It says 6, but I don't feel it. I don't feel it. But anyway, back to talking about the tank, because that's really what we're supposed to be doing here, is talking about this tank. It's comparable to the IS-7, of course, and the IS-7 has about the same hull armor, but the IS-7 is just angled better. In fact, it's angled to a point where if you angle the tank, you don't get penned. If you angle in this tank at all, in fact, let me show you. You're going to get penetrated. So you notice how you get penetrated like this if you angle. It's kind of like the T10 at tier 8. Where if you face, your armor is great, but as soon as you angle a little bit, your armor just becomes really, really, really bad. Meanwhile, tanks like the IS-7, and oh yeah, while we're looking at look at this. How do you dig this out if it's hiding its lower plate? You don't, right? Meanwhile, if the IS-7 angles, it's still bad, but it's just not as bad if you angle this at all. It's just like you can still get bounces off of this. I mean, granted, if you go like this, no, but this is so much better than the 260 when it angles. So don't angle. You shouldn't angle in either of these, but you can get away with it with the IS-7. You can't get away with it in the Object 260. If you angle, you get penned. Simple as that. Now, people get mad at me for comparing tanks. That seems to be a thing. Whenever I compare a tank, people are like, what are you doing? They're different tanks, man. You can't compare them, blah, blah, blah. Like, I would compare the AMX-30B to the Leopard 1 and the M60. And people would be like, well, the AMX-30B is its own tank. It's not a Leopard 1, and it's not an Object 260, so you can't compare them. Yes, I can. If a tank is supposed to have the same playstyle or similar playstyles, I'm absolutely going to compare them. And if one of them who has the same playstyle is worse at it, I'm going to call it out, and I'm going to let you know. And that's this tank when it comes to the brawling aspects. 'Cause that's what it's supposed to do, really, is brawl. Kind of. And it's not as good at that as the IS-7. And if you decide to use it as a faster heavy, it's not as good at as the 277 or the what is it, the 113 or the 5A. This tank is not as good as those when it comes to fighting tanks. It just isn't. It really, really isn't. When it comes to fighting tanks, it's not as good at that. When it comes to staying alive, it's not as good at that. However, it does have really good speed. It's the fastest heavy, minus the 50B in the machine. It can go 60, and it actually gets to that speed. And look at the gun depression. I'm struggling with it again. It's not 6. It's not 6 degrees on this thing. It is 5. I'm convinced now it is 5. And so yes, I'm going to compare this thing to those assault heavy tanks. We hit the gun again, so I'm switching APCR at this point. It's like, oh gosh darn. It is. It's not as good as an assault heavy as other tanks. In fact, my most effective games I've had in this tank, in my opinion, while I was playing it, I found were just hunting down tanks who were by themselves. Like, oh, you're by yourself, I'm gonna go kill you, and going from flank to flank as quickly as I could, and it was actually doing really well like that. So that's pretty good. I do enjoy that. And we mentioned earlier about the nerfs the tank had. Yeah, everything about the tank got nerfed. All right, everything. There's not a thing on here that's the same, other than the alpha and the penetration, and the top speed. And okay, never mind. Well, every aspect of the tank got nerfed, should I say? So in other words, the mobility, slight mobility nerf, slight DPM nerf, slight gun handling nerf. You know, all that stuff. It happened to all of them. It happened to every aspect of the tank. Something has happened in realisticness. All right, not necessarily the straight line speed, but you know, something did happen to the mobility. And it doesn't affect too much. 2 degrees, I think, per second is what it was. Yes, I just double checked, 28 to 26, and that's not terrible at all. Like, if you got that nerf, you're like, yeah, whatever, sure. But the fact that they've nerfed everything, oh yeah, Russia. Well, the fact that they nerfed a little bit of everything kind of annoys me. Like, can't you pick one thing or two things in nerf, not everything? Because now it's not the same tank anymore. It really isn't. They should have picked and choose. They should have picked and choose, not just chosen everything. Like, oh, we're just gonna nerf everything. The tank is gonna be too good here on console from PC, so let's nerf everything about it. Why not just one thing? Like nerf the gun handling, which I would not like. I think they should have really good gun handling, not insane gun handling, but the gun handling that's comparable to the Chinese tier 10 heavies, or the 121, the Chinese tier 10 medium tank. But it doesn't. In fact, I feel when I play the T10, I'm hitting more shots, the tier 9, which is what this is most comparable to, in my opinion. This feels like a T10 at tier 10, so that's really nice. But it's at tier 10, and it's not anymore. Its gun handling just isn't what it should be, in my opinion. So, yeah. But I still like the tank. I still do. I still think it's a good tank. It's definitely, the nerfs they've given it are not as drastic as what they did to, let's say, the 907, where they just, I mean, the nerfs to 907 weren't that bad. I think it was mostly just DPM, and did they nerf its mobility just slightly? I think the turning ability, just like they do on every tank, just a touch. Oh yes, and they nerfed its hit points. Oh, and they nerfed its turret rotation. So yeah, that thing got hit hard. But this tank didn't get hit as hard. Yes, it got hit everywhere, but it didn't get hit hard everywhere. But here's the game. Almost 10,000 combined, not too shabby. 9,700 damage combined with the assist damage added on. We get an ace tanker, which is unsurprising. That should probably be an ace tanker regardless. Even in a month when this tank is played a lot, it should still be an ace tanker. So I'll take that. Moving briskly along to our next game, we are now on Redshire. And boy, I have not seen Redshire in a long time. I miss this map. Whew. The standard, original, OG Redshire. Where have you been all my life? And we are now in the live game. We are no longer pre-recorded. And there's no Artie. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And this has been a pretty serious video. A lot more serious than my other ones. I usually try to keep my videos lighthearted. But when you're investing this much money into the game, you have to know if you're getting what you want, right? And this is not... After playing a couple more games, trying to get a good game for you guys, which I didn't, so I decided to use my stream game yesterday. It's not 6 degrees. This is not 6 degrees. Whoa, looking at it from the side. Nope, that is not 6 degrees. That's 5 degrees. All right, that is 5 degrees. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. But maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong, but it just doesn't feel like it. And yet again, if you're going to be putting 450,000 free XP into this tank, I just wouldn't recommend it. Really? Realistically, it's fun. I'm enjoying it, and I do enjoy it. And if you're the kind of person who just wants a tank and is willing to throw gold over, or if you have a lot of free XP, sure, go for it. But there's going to be more premium tanks at tier 10 coming up. There is. Simple as that, right? Maybe this isn't the one you want to get, because maybe you can get a better one later. When you can literally just get yourself a 5A or an IA7 or a 113, which I think can just do this thing's job a little bit better. Not as fast, but, you know, you don't play a heavy tank really for speed. No, I can't get my gun down here. Look at this. Oh, there we got it down. That's like the one heavy tank I didn't want to see. We might load heat so we can go through his roof. You do have gun depression. You can move around. There you go. See, if you feel so inclined. There you go. Dang it. There's just nothing we can do about it. Gosh darn. That was flush. You can't tell me that wasn't flush.
Actually, clone guy, as you can see here, you hit the roof and not where you thought you hit. So that is why, you bounced off. See, you hit right there. You see right there.
We have one more premium round left. And then it's all over. And then there's nothing we can do. And here I am spamming premium rounds. Like you do. There we go. A little bit of damage there. Well, good luck. I've spent all of it. There we go. Come on. Come on, put a shell in. Put a shell in. So I just want to say that I'm a terrible player. I just do. Because I loaded premium rounds. I only pen 5. Just going to go out on a limb and let you know that that's not a very good play. That's really not. There we go. That's worth the shot. That's worth taking a hit to kill. Nice kill. There we go. That's beautiful. Stop rocking and let me kill you. You have to realize that this is what you want me to do. That Death Star. We have another Yag Tiger. I want to go where this IS-7 is now. Let's help these guys out a little bit. Just kidding. My tank would be overpowered, you know, if I had 0.35 accuracy, it really would. If I were able to hit that shot, that would be overpowered. My gosh. Oof. This is a tough one. But it's fun. It's a machine. I7, we can hold the line. Sorry I'm gone so quiet, but this is intense. That's a pen, apparently. I'm not sure what universe. And that's not a pen. I have 260 pen. He has 250 armor there. Yeah, you better run. Look at him. There we go. Damage is damage. Are you kidding me? He hits that? Oof. There we go. This is scary. This is very scary, but my team is showing up. And everyone's shooting HE but this guy. So I can't get hit by anyone. And if that guy shoots HE, I'm dead. There you go. Got him. And this guy's gonna beat my reload, I think. IS-7 saves me. There we go. Whew! That was scary. That was scary. Sorry about the heat spam in the beginning, guys.
Apology accepted, Captain Nida.
I saw my life flash before my eyes with all those hull down tanks. I'm just like, well, this is the only chance. We got through. The heat did nothing. Heat did nothing. Heat did not help. Actually, the heat helped with a singular shot on the Conqueror. Yeah, heat. But, you saw the armor work sometimes, not work other times, you know? You saw the speed work. You saw the gun depression not work. This guy held on a long time. He didn't do as much damage as I thought, but, you know, it's all good. He stayed alive. Wow. 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 Well, that's, I really... In that position, if I was in a 5A, we would have dominated those guys because of the better reload, the better gun handling, the better rate of fire, which is reload, the better gun depression. Yeah, that would have been nice. That would have been nice. But that's the tank. The Object 260. I do apologize for the heat spam at the start, but it is what it is. I could not get through that Conqueror. I thought heat would help, and it didn't because I cannot aim because I'm bad. What do you have the tank? What do you think of it? Do you think it's worth it? Are you going to be picking one up? Let me know your opinions in the comments below, guys. And, yeah. I personally like the tank. But I don't think enough to spend 450,000 for XP on it ever again. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. If you guys all enjoyed it, if you did, slap that like button, comment, subscribe. Make sure you go check out Space Bandit, GotADingy's YouTube's links in the description below. And I'll see you guys all later. Take care, everyone. And peace out.